Hey everyone, Coolman1 here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my fan casts for a Sinister Six movie. So this is my third Spider-Man fan casting video so far, and the reason I'm on my third one now is because, well, basically I'm building my own Spider-Man cinematic universe here on my channel. And if you guys love Spider-Man and you're subscribed to my channel, you probably heard of Spider-Man Future, my version of a live-action Spider-Man movie, which I made a fan casting video for, and posters. And I also made a fan-made trailer for it, so check that out if you haven't. And also my own version of a live-action Spider-Man Miles Morales. And now, I'm basically doing the same thing, but with the Sinister Six, because I think it would be really cool for the Sinister Six to get a movie, and I feel like Sony has been trying to set that up for a really long time, ever since The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I believe, where they were trying to set up their own Sinister Six, but that ended up getting cancelled. And it looks like right now in the Sonyverse, they're gonna try to build that up and make their own original Sinister Six on there. But assuming they are doing that in the Sonyverse, in the meantime, I'm here making my own version for my own live-action Sinister Six. And I just think the Sinister Six is awesome. I mean, come on. A group of 6 of Spider-Man's villains working together to try to take him down, but Spider-Man ends up winning at the end. Like, that's awesome. So, why not make a fan casting video for them about their own movie? Now that sounds amazing. Also, one more thing before I start the video. If you guys are wondering which members of the Sinister Six I'm gonna be fan casting, I'm fan casting Sandman, Kraven, Rhino, Vulture, Venom, and Electro. So without further ado, let's get on to my fan casts for a Sinister Six movie. So the first one I'm fan casting on here is Sandman, and for Sandman, I'm fan casting John Cena. Now, who else could be better for this role than John Cena? John Cena has been one of the most popular fan casts for Sandman, and we've already seen fan art of what he looks like as Sandman. And a long time ago, John Cena himself even put out a random picture of Sandman, obviously not teasing anything. Or was he? I'm not sure, but he put out a random picture of Sandman, making Spider-Man fans think that he was gonna play Sandman in a future Spider-Man movie in live action. But turns out that was just a random picture, but that doesn't mean he can't play Sandman in the future. I mean, come on, look at him and tell me he isn't perfect for Sandman. He looks like Sandman, first of all. He actually looks like Thomas Hayden Church's version of Sandman from Spider-Man 3, and he has the right voice for the character as well. He's also a former wrestler turned actor, so that right there automatically makes him perfect. If he has good acting skills, and he used to be a wrestler, just like someone like The Rock, then yeah. He should definitely do a character like Sandman. So yeah, John Cena as Sandman. Next up is Kraven the Hunter. And for Kraven the Hunter, I'm fan casting Jason Momoa. So just like John Cena as Sandman, Jason Momoa is the most popular fan cast for the character that I'm fan casting him as in this video. I remember back then when everyone used to fan cast him as Kraven the Hunter, including me. I remember seeing fan art of what he looks like as Kraven. I went to Google and I searched up fan art of Jason Momoa as Kraven, and I was surprised to see how good he looked as the character. But there's something that surprised me even more. You see, everyone wants him to play Kraven, but the problem is that he once said that he doesn't like Marvel, and that's probably why he played Aquaman at DC instead, and that's also probably why we have Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Kraven in the Kraven solo movie coming out soon, instead of Jason Momoa. But hey, this is a fan cast, so if he doesn't like Marvel, I don't care. I'm still fan casting him as Kraven, because come on, he's perfect. I mean, look at him. He has the look, he has the personality. I can totally see him as Kraven, hunting animals and then hunting Spider-Man. I think all he needs is the Russian accent. If he has that Kraven Russian accent, I bet he can play the perfect Sergei Kravenov or Kraven the Hunter. It's too bad I can't find any footage of him doing a Russian accent. But anyways, yeah, Jason Momoa as Kraven the Hunter. Now the next character on here is the Rhino. And for the Rhino, I'm fan casting Dave Bautista. So when I was fan casting the Rhino, I immediately knew I wanted to get someone who looks really tough and big, someone who can definitely fit the look of the Rhino. And originally, I was gonna cast Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Why do I have so many wrestlers in mind for these characters? But I ended up changing my mind and casting Dave Bautista instead. Because, I don't know, I just think he definitely fits the role a little bit better. If you look at his other Marvel character that he played, Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't know about you guys, but when I see Drax, I think of the Rhino. When you look at Drax, he's literally the Rhino. Destructive, not that smart, chaotic, and gray. They're both gray characters. So yeah, we know they have a lot in common. They're pretty alike. And I know Dave Bautista said he wasn't going to play Drax anymore, though I'm not sure if he ever said he was done playing a Marvel character. Because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 happened, and he said that after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, he wasn't gonna play Drax anymore because he was tired of being shirtless as Drax, and all that makeup on him made him uncomfortable. But if he played Rhino, he wouldn't have to go through any of that because, one, Rhino isn't shirtless, because, I mean, he'd basically be wearing a Rhino suit. And, well, I don't think being the Rhino requires makeup, right? All you have to do is just go inside a giant suit that looks like a rhino, and that's it. And besides, after seeing Paul Giamatti's version of Rhino from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which everyone hated, I think it's time they stop shying away from the Rhino in live action and give us a new actor who could do a way better job. And that's where Dave Bautista comes in. We've seen in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and in the Avengers movies that Dave Bautista is an amazing actor. He can handle both serious and comedic roles. And when I see the Rhino, I see that he can be a comedic Spider-Man villain, because sure, he can run you over with his giant horn, but he's also kind of funny sometimes, and I think Dave Bautista can nail that really well. And I can just imagine Spider-Man trying to calm down Dave Bautista's Rhino, and Rhino just going, "Roar!" and running at him. Man, I think Dave Bautista can handle that really well. And considering how much fun he had playing Drax, I bet he's gonna have even more fun playing a character like Rhino. And yes, I am aware that we are going to see the Rhino in the upcoming Kraven movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson, and you know, that's awesome. I love that he actually turns into a rhino instead of wearing that ugly giant metal rhino suit from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it's great that we get to see him in live action again. But personally, I've always wanted to see Rhino as his normal human self, wearing a rhino suit. That's how I would picture Dave Bautista if he was playing the Rhino. Just put him in a rhino suit. Don't give him a giant mech. Don't mutate him into a rhino. Just put him in a suit. A suit made out of rhino skin. And that would just be perfect. Yes! So Dave Bautista as Rhino. Next up is the Vulture. And for the Vulture, I'm fan casting John Malkovich. So John Malkovich might sound familiar to you. And if you think he sounds familiar, it's because Sam Raimi, the director of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, was going to cast him as the Vulture for Spider-Man 4, which, well, it was canceled, but I'm pretty sure Sam Raimi still has plans to make it at some point in the future. And if he does make it in the future, I don't know if he's still going to use the Vulture, but since Spider-Man 4 hasn't happened yet, and we don't know anything from Sam Raimi about it yet, I thought, you know what? Why don't I just cast the actor who was originally going to be cast as Vulture for Spider-Man 4? And honestly, John Malkovich is perfect. I mean, looking at him right away, you can obviously tell he looks like classic Vulture. I mean, I really enjoyed Michael Keaton's version of Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, but I think I would have preferred John Malkovich as Vulture. I mean, come on, look at him. He's bald, and I think he's really good for the role, honestly. And I just think he would have delivered a great performance as the Vulture. So, yeah, John Malkovich as the Vulture. Next up is Venom. And for Venom, I'm fan casting Alexander Ludwig. So, apart from Green Goblin, Venom is another one of Spider-Man's best and most popular villains, which is why he got a solo movie in the Sonyverse. You know, Venom is just such a great character, and Tom Hardy does a really great job, especially with that Venom voice. Wow, that Venom voice is amazing.
We are Venom.
It's so good. So, Tom Hardy makes a great Venom and a great Eddie Brock. But, personally, I do think his Eddie Brock could be a bit better. Something that kind of bothers me, and something that kind of always has been bothering me about Tom Hardy's Eddie, is that he doesn't have blonde hair as Eddie Brock. And, as you know, Eddie Brock has always had blonde hair. But Tom Hardy has dark brown hair, and for some reason they never made him dye his hair or wear a wig to play Eddie Brock. He just kept his regular brown hair. And, well, I'm sorry to bring this up, because I know a lot of people don't like this version of Eddie Brock, but Topher Grace's Eddie Brock from Spider-Man 3. I know everyone hates this version of the character, but if there's one thing that he did right as Eddie Brock, it was having blonde hair. And you know that's true. One of the most important things about Eddie Brock as a character is his blonde hair. And I think to everyone, that's basically the only thing they got right when it came to Topher Grace's Eddie Brock. So when I was looking for an actor to fan cast as my version of Eddie Brock / Venom, I knew that the one thing I had to focus on was finding an actor with blonde hair. And I ended up ultimately going with Alexander Ludwig. And looking at him, I can totally see him as Eddie Brock / Venom. He definitely looks like he can play Eddie Brock, especially since he has blonde hair. And also after seeing this fan art. I don't know about you guys, but I can totally see him going up against my version of Peter Parker, played by Grant Gustin. Like, I can just imagine Grant Gustin's Peter Parker telling Alexander Ludwig's Venom, Eddie, you have to snap out of it. You have to get rid of the symbiote. It's controlling you. And then Eddie says, get rid of it. I can't do that. I've had it for a while now, and you know what? I've grown really attached to it. It's a part of me now. So I'm definitely keeping it, and together,
We will kill you.
hope you guys like my little Venom impression there. But, yeah. Alexander Ludwig as
Venom.
And now, finally, the last character I'm fan casting is Electro. And for Electro, I'm fan casting Ed Skrein. Now, I know Jamie Foxx is the iconic live-action Electro, but when I fan casted him as Jefferson Davis for my live-action Miles Morales, I knew I had to cast someone else as Electro. Also, I think it's about time we get a version of Electro in live action that isn't wearing an electrician suit or a hoodie. And you know what I'm talking about if you've seen those fan arts of Jamie Foxx with a real Electro costume. I just can't believe they're too scared to give him his iconic suit. And the mask! They never even gave him his iconic electricity crown mask thing. We've only seen it once in Spider-Man No Way Home for like a split second. That's so disappointing. I mean, they can literally have one of the other villains of Spider-Man build Electro a little device to put on his head, a tiny device to put on his forehead to activate the electricity crown thing made out of electricity. It doesn't even have to be a mask. It could just be made out of electricity like it was for a split second in No Way Home. But anyways, I think we need a new Electro, and that's why I want to fan cast Ed Skrein. So when I was looking for fan casts for Electro, I knew I had to look for someone who wasn't Jamie Foxx. And then I came across Ed Skrein. And, well, I'm just gonna come out and say it. The main reason I chose him was because he kinda looks like Electro from the PlayStation Insomniac Spider-Man game. Yeah, that's why I chose him. That's literally the only reason why I chose him. But I also do think he can definitely pull off Electro. But he also has that kind of gangster look to him. Like, I can imagine him doing, like, an Electro with a gangster attitude. Like, where do you think you're going, Spider-Man? Something like that. And if they want to make a really good Electro, I suggest they do what they did with Electro in Spectacular Spider-Man. Now that was a good Electro. He gets into his accident by falling into a tank of eels. Then he goes to the hospital and they're taking care of him. Then he has to wear an electricity-proof suit to keep himself and everyone else safe. Then he gets mad, breaks parts of his electricity-proof suit, and goes insane. That's perfect. And that's personally how I would do Electro if Ed Skrein was playing him. So Ed Skrein as Electro. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought about my fan casts for a Sinister Six movie. I know I missed the opportunity to cast Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus, and I know they're the most popular members of the Sinister Six, but I just wanted to focus on the 6 that I fan casted in this video. But about Green Goblin, I may or may not already have an actor to fan cast as him, and if you want to see who I fan cast as Green Goblin, I'm gonna make a short about that on my channel soon. So yeah, let me know what other Spider-Man villains you would like for me to fan cast. And also, let me know if you enjoyed this. Anyways, that's all for this video, and as always, stay cool.